Yes, I'm here with Miguel Dias. Hey Miguel,
Hey Lars,
how are you?
very well, what about you?
Fantastic, it's been great days in Porto.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you for having me here, and the Swedish and Nordic teams and international teams. So what's been going on here for these days?
Yeah, it's the 20th edition of the Entrepreneurship Fair of Anje, and we had three main events during this Entrepreneurship Fair. On Thursday it was the Startup Port Accelerator demo day. Friday it was the WE'BIZ European Policy Portugal Sweden, where you were the speaker and the keynote opening it.
Yeah.
And today, Saturday, we had the traditional WE'BIZ in the last edition of 2017.
Yeah. So it's been great days, and what's the takeaways so far?
Again, so Sweden is already a scale-up nation, and Portugal is a scale-up nation already with a very good, a lot of quality in our scale-ups, and we want to understand how we can transition from a startup nation to a scale-up nation. And that's why it was so amazing to get to know Tieto, one of the largest Swedish corporates, to get to know you, who have a very good understanding of the Nordics and the relationship with Silicon Valley, and of course also Business Sweden. So we learned a lot.
Yeah.
And also to get to know on the WE'BIZ today about the French ecosystem and how can we scale up from Europe to the world. Also with Uniplaces, an amazing vision and pitch from Miguel Santamaru of Uniplaces, one of our best scale-ups.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was really good. So what are the next steps and the most important things now then?
Yeah, so I think that now we have been working a lot this year at the WE'BIZ in the different editions to create the motorway of Portuguese scale-ups to scale very quickly to the three main markets in Europe, so the UK, Germany and France. And the next steps is to look to another geographies like Asia, the US, Latin America, Africa, Southeast Asia, etc. and try to understand what are the other directions that we can take in order to expand the business. It's just the US should be the focus, or there are other options available. I think that 2018 would be a lot about it, and also about how we attract talent to Portugal. That's something that's why we also have a lot to learn with Sweden, because it's very multicultural, very international. We have very few scale-ups who have a founding team which is multicultural, and that's what also we have been discussing at the end of the European of the WE'BIZ European Policy Portugal Sweden, with the Swede who is working at Aptoid, and we want to maybe put together international people who are working in Portuguese scale-ups and understand why they decided to move to Portugal and how we can attract more people to Portugal to work on scale-ups.
So looking out for new markets, learning and attract more talents to Portugal.
That's it.
Yeah. So what's highest on the wish list then, or the dream list, Miguel?
I think that the dream list is to go from 11 scale-ups who raised its Series A internationally to 20 or 30, and maybe to have the after Farfetch, which is our first $1 billion company. Some people say that it's British too, so it's always this kind of conflict. And we want to have more and have some of these companies exiting and coming to Portugal to become very qualified angel investors to the next generation of entrepreneurs, to make it even faster than today. So the channels with the main investors in Europe are already built. So we brought them along the year, some of the best. iTech, Huna Funds, Partech Ventures, Octopus Ventures, Rocket Internet, Axel Partners, Telefonica, Caixa Capital Risk. So this time Om Capital. So the best of the best are coming to Portugal, are connected. Some of the best corporates have been here. So now it's much more about attracting the talent and having the founders coming back to support the next generation and have much more scale-ups than what we have today.
Hashtag action.
Yes.
Okay, so what do we have here? If you describe the surroundings, startup village behind you, where are we and what's going on here in this location?
Yeah, here the idea, like 20 years ago, is really to showcase some of very young startups who are still looking to find their product market fit, and to give them some visibility, some contacts, some local network, clients, partners, even talent and investors, local investors, who can support them to go to the next level and help them to find the product market fit, and then go for the WE'BIZ events and the scale-up program that we already have with Scale-up Porto to scale up their business. But this stage is still finding product market fit, showcasing, giving them some visibility at the startup village without any cost.
Yeah. And have you been to Sweden, Miguel?
Not yet, and I think that's the next trip. It needs to be to Stockholm and to Sweden, definitely.
Yeah, so that would be highest on your dream list, maybe.
Yes, absolutely, Sweden, and that's why we selected Sweden for the first time for the first WE'BIZ European Policy, special edition of WE'BIZ. It was Sweden because, it's the number one in terms of VC investment per capita. It's number one scaling companies. It's a country who has roughly the same population as Portugal, so we can learn much more out of Sweden than out of the UK, France, and Germany, because the reality is much similar to Portugal. I think that Sweden is already in the top of the top in Europe, and we have a lot to learn from Sweden.
Fantastic, thank you, Miguel. And final, what you have a chance to say something to the listeners now. Anything, free. What do you want to say to the world?
I would love that Swedish people and from any country would like to know more about Portugal and would like to be linked with Portugal. Please contact me. I would be very happy to talk to you and to try to understand how we can support each other.
Fantastic. Thank you, Miguel. Good luck. Or congratulations. Done amazing enough.
Thank you so much for coming. You made it.
Thank you.